All the coaching individually that I do, I certainly have coached many teams. And so one of the questions I get asked all the time is, how do you figure a good batting order? And there's really kind of two philosophies. One is the feast and famine approach. Put all your best hitters up at the top of the lineup, and then you get a weakness, and then your weak hitters come up, and you kind of live by hoping, or you just get out and wait for till your good hitters come up again. The other approach is to scatter your good hitters. This approach kind of works if your weaker players have a chance to get on base. Other times that can actually just kind of kill your rallies, and you leave your better players at second and third base, as well as when the order comes around again, you're not always coming up with your best players. So you can go either way. I've seen it done both ways. And then there's a real simple formula that most people work with if you had the perfect players to fill these gaps. But basically it works pretty simply. Your best on-base person, whether they can get on with a walk, they get hit a lot, they get with a hit, a fast person, somebody that can bunt and run or slap and slash and run, those are a traditional leadoff guy. The second person is normally somebody that can move your leadoff person around. So basically, if you're in a league that you can bunt, they're a good bunter, or they're a good hit and run, hit behind the runner to move that person over to third. And traditionally, your best hitter, both for power and average, is your number 3 hitter. And then normally your best power hitter is your number 4 hitter. And then normally a really strong power hitter sits at number 5, but sometimes they strike out a lot or whatever. So that person doesn't have the higher averages of the 3 and 4, but they have the power of the number 4. And then you move to number 6, which is kind of your secondary leadoff guy. Whoever would have been a leadoff guy if that guy or gal is sick or out of play that day, sometimes that person is their leadoff person. 7 then is either a repeat of number 2, or sometimes you just get a good hitter and they get in a slump. And a lot of times, since 7, 8, 9, and if you have a league where they go 10, or you're batting through a lineup, as you get lower in the lineup, the pitchers tend to lessen up on their concentration, and so maybe you'll see a good hitter sitting at 7 and 8 to get weaker pitches so they can get their confidence back up and then move them back in the lineup. And then normally your last person is, you've got to think about who's coming up after the last person. Yes, it's real common to put your weakest person, but you don't want always to have the slowest person there, because your fastest person is probably coming up next. And so sometimes your last person can actually be maybe a third leadoff person, still a pretty fast person, but just weaker and having trouble hitting.
If you got value out of this video and would like more tips on hitting, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell to be notified when the next one comes out, where I talk about how you can strike out less at the plate.